Good afternoon, everybody. It is Eric, and we've got some tarantulas here. Now, they're in these wee tiny little delis and containers and whatnot, and they are desperately in need of some upgrades. These were actually just some surrenders that got dropped off at the shop here last week. So we have got 6 spiders in 6 cramped quarters, and these spiders are kind of obese. This is oftentimes people, when they keep tarantulas, will feed them on a schedule, so like once a week per se. But depending on how active they are, they're not really going through those calories all that quickly, and these guys were a little cramped, so they've gotten a little tubby. Thus, we have made some upgrades. I just like to use acrylic critter keepers when growing these out. They're not the prettiest, they do the job. So we've got our first moved over. That's a little Brachypelma smithi, the classic red knee tarantula. If you've seen a tarantula in a movie, it was probably one of those, mostly because they're just super agreeable to work with. So we'll pop that off onto the side, and we'll move on to our next one. I like to have a catch cup, which you did see on the left there, that in case they bolt, something to catch them in. And then I've got my handy dandy wooden Dairy Queen spoon there. I like to use wood because if the tarantula gets a little stressed, turns around and bites it, it's not going to really hurt their fangs. So this is a good old T. Voggins, Mexican red rump tarantula. These are another very commonly kept pet tarantula from Mexico. And they're a little bit less chill than the smithy. This guy seems a little tuckered out. So I gotta help him along a little bit because he's just kind of moseying. I want to make sure to get all those legs clear before lifting out the container because they got little hookies on their legs, and if it sticks to the container, you might yoink them right up. Well, it isn't very good for them. They're not looking for a chiropractic adjustment. These are invertebrates. They don't have spines. So we'll pop that on there. We want to make sure it clicks because, if as much as I like tarantulas, I don't really want them running around the shop. I like them when I know where they're at. When I don't expect them, it's a little bit different. Now this is a Lasiodora parahybana, a salmon pink bird eater from South America. These like it a little bit more wet, and they get much bigger. This is competes for one of the largest tarantulas on the planet. These guys can sometimes reach leg spans of like 8 to 10 inches. They're not really eating birds. That's a very dangerous prey item for them. It's just kind of a name that they have. They're mostly eating bugs. But that one went real easy. So let's cap that off. Make sure she's good and clicked. And move along. For substrate, I've got a bit of cocoa fiber, a little bit of topsoil, some mulch spread up in there with a little bit of leaf litter. It's going to hold moisture, and it's also going to allow them to tunnel. This is one of Amber's favorites. These are Cletocotyle albipilosus, or a curly hair tarantula. This is the hobby form. These ones are super duper foofy. We actually just had one of these lay an egg sac, so we'll be pulling that out soon. And that'll be another video coming up. But let's get this little one vacated here. These ones stay a little smaller, maybe 4 to 5.5, maybe even 6-inch leg span, but they're not ginormous. And they're another one that's just, they're kind of friendly. They're just chill little spiders. Never really all that worried. None of these spiders are really that venomous. They do all have venom, but it's very mild. These are New World tarantulas, New World terrestrial tarantulas. They're going to rely on urticating hairs and mechanical damage via their fangs to defend themselves more than they will the venom, which is more just there to process their prey. The Grammostola pulchripes, which is Brazilian striped knee or something to that effect. I get a little rusty on the English names sometimes. These ones have a little bit more of a tood. This one seems to be interested and engaging in active combat with my spoon, so I just gotta be a little delicate with them because these guys don't handle falls very well, so if he comes bolting out of that enclosure and yeets himself off of my work table here, it's not going to be very good for him, especially since he's a chunky little monkey. So we got to make sure we keep some control of these guys. You get back in there, buddy. Okay, we'll lid that off. Move on to the next one, which is going to be another of the same. I'm kind of hoping here that we're going to have a boy and a girl because if we have a boy and a girl and we grow them up, then we can make, well, a whole whack ton of boys and girls, and the more the merrier. So we'll pop these the little lid doohickey off of here. This guy likes his little terracotta pot. That's kind of cute, but he's getting too big for it and the container he's in, so let's scoop him on out. This one's really showing off the kicking of the hairs. You see this back leg going there on his bum? He's kicking those urticating hairs off. They become airborne. So if you're in close proximity, say you're a fox or something trying to snap at him with your mouth, you're going to get an eyes and nose full of those hairs. It's going to be very irritating. It's going to make you think twice about eating these guys. Anyways, that's all we got. 6 little juvenile tarantulas in 6 upgraded enclosures. May they lose some weight, molt, grow, be healthy, happy, and merry. And we'll see you all in the next one.